I would love to revert to the conversation we were having about brand evolution and how a lot of people are starting to approach it with more intention. I feel like you've been in the marketing space long enough to see the growth of how people are just holding brands a lot more accountable, whether it's from a sustainability standpoint, racial equality, sexual equality. Um, I'm curious as to how that's trickled down to behind the scenes, like from your position. Like, do you guys take more caution in being inclusive? Do you guys hire multicultural agencies to ensure that you have the proper positioning when it comes to certain matters?
Yeah. I mean, this is not the PR answer. This is like the God's
Oh,
honest
keep it
truth.
real. That's why we got you. Like, Amina, keep it real.
Most of the brands I've worked for have always had that as like a top of mind goal. Now, how it got executed and the level at which, we were able to deliver on that, like that's up for debate. I think there's always more you can do. But I think especially like when I think about my current role, like that is so central to like who we are as a brand. So while I know like a lot of companies in the last year have kind of jumped on that, um, you know, I feel like I'm fortunate enough to say I've always worked for companies where they've prioritized that. Now, as a Black woman, my goal is to like hold everybody's feet to the fire and keep everyone accountable, and that's where I think, um, you know, like that's kind of the responsibility I've kind of put on myself, because it sounds good, but like, what are you actually doing? And I think you guys have seen this in the last year. A lot of brands have stepped up. I want to see if everyone keeps the same energy, rolling into 2022, and making sure that, like, I don't know, the intentions are positive, right? Like, this isn't
Or
just about
real. Or
selling.
real. Like, so I feel like brands have stepped up for the show
You
versus.
think so? Now, is that a bad thing? Let's talk about that. Is that a bad thing? So, like, if a brand
So
is
I'm gonna say
stepping up for the
I know so,
show,
Amina. First, I'm gonna answer your first question. Do I
okay.
think so? I know so. And your next question is it a bad thing? You tell me, is it a bad thing?
I have mixed feelings, and here's why. So, say for example, a brand is like, look, this Black Lives Matter thing is really, really gotten some heat. We're gonna donate to some HBCUs. We're gonna go, donate to this charity. I'm like, great, give us your money. Or we're gonna go hire, great, get us in the room. Like, even if you're not genuine, like now that we have the resources, we're gonna continue to level up and help equal the playing field. And so the part of me that's kind of like upset about it is like, you're not you're not really serious about it. And so maybe I get your check today and then tomorrow you move on.
Yep.
Or maybe I get your check today and you still really haven't fixed all of the systematic issues. So I do have mixed feelings about it. On one hand, I'm like, yes, if you want to throw a check around, cool. Throw it to the right people,
Yep.
and let's try to like keep the momentum. But on the other hand, I'm kind of like, it feels exploitative. So I definitely have mixed feelings about it.
Yep.
Yeah, I completely agree. We had
I
this
could see
conversation.
Savannah's
Yeah.
like lighting up, but this is how she feels.
100%.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because, yeah, I literally feel the same way. Because Baron
Right.
actually asked me one time, like, well, if you're just getting that position because you're a Black or because you're a woman, like, do you feel some sort of way about it? And I was like,
Yep.
well, if I can get in that position and open the door for another Black woman behind me, or just prove them, wrong or right in whatever their assumptions are, then my purpose has been fulfilled, right? So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I mean, what you guys are saying is rational. I'm not like arguing that point, and there are two sides to it. There's the give me the fucking money, I'll make it work, and then there's the if you're just giving me the money for some bullshit, there's principle involved with it, right? And we
Yeah.
all have our
Mm-hmm.
line that we cross, right,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like too much. I agree with the rational thought on it. And our line, I would argue, as humans and as humans that are hopefully always evolving, our line moves with us.
Mm-hmm.
And my line moved a while ago, where it's not good enough to talk the talk, and it's not good enough to write the check, and it's not good enough to do the creative. That's like, oh shit, that lines up with the BLM movement and all that. And Amina, you and I've had these. Uh,
Yeah.
I won't get into the
We were
specifics.
calling BS
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, on a
yeah,
lot of
and
things.
I call BS on a lot of things. If I'm being really 1,000 on this call, or in this pod, I've called BS on things that she and I have disagreed on. She's like, no. And I said, yes. I've called BS before George Floyd was murdered. Obviously, things got, things really, really exploded and the conversation really got to the forefront, which is silly. It should always be in the forefront. It's silly that, like, the difference between George Floyd and there's no difference between George Floyd's murder, and he was murdered, and Eric Gardner's murder, except all of a sudden it was, we're all stuck inside because of COVID, and all of a sudden it exploded. And I'm sure there are other sociological reasons why it exploded, but I've been calling this for a while. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Hate it. But again, here's the paradox. I've been in the room where it's like, oh shit, Fortune 100 brand, Fortune 500 brand, they're ready to write a check, and they're ready to write it, and it's not completely the way I like it.
Right.
But am I really going to walk away from this opportunity to build this program? Because if we're being 1,000, it's for the good of people. It's good creative, but I'll put money in my pocket too. Like, there's a capitalistic view of, like, am I really going to walk away from this? Like, and then in your case, Aminah, you're in corporate America. Like, I hear you about holding people.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
But you got to also be diplomatic, right? 100%. When you're in the room, right?
Well, yeah.
I feel like I've grown to be a little bit less, like, before I thought about it, and I think in the last few years, I'm not even going back to like post George Floyd. I've kind of gotten to a point where, yeah, I'm gonna be respectful, but I'm gonna speak my truth, right? Because, to Savannah's point, it's less about me and more about like the Black girls and the Black men coming, behind me. So yeah, I agree with that. I mean, in your example that you're talking about, I would hope that you would, like, apply some pressure and try to push it as far as you can, but knowing that, like anything in corporate America, there's a give and take.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, as long as you felt good about what went down, or how it was, executed, or however it came to life, then I think that's all you can ask for.